Lone Star Axe. Now this is the video on how to put the epoxy in the head of the pig once the handle has been set. With the epoxy, 1-to-1 ratio for the amount that you need for the head, A and B. We're using the Nuplabond, but you can get epoxy at Home Depot, Lowe's. In the tools section, you can always use that if you need be. First thing is, once the handle is in the head, sand the top. You're going to want to do this so it will make the masking tape stick to the head better. This is the best tape to use. Don't use the blue tape because it sticks to the epoxy when it's setting and it's hard to peel off. Get the cheaper tape, not the blue. I've already poured some of the epoxy in another head. And the reason why I did that is so I let it fill up halfway and I let the bubbles rise to the surface. Now I'll do the second one. Just pour it in nice and smooth. Set the head on something level. I'm using my workbench right here, and I poured about halfway evenly, and it lets it set in the front of the fiberglass core. Then I run it to the back, and it just kind of goes down to the sides. And then I stop pouring and give it time. Let it set. It's not a rush. You don't need to do it. You're only doing one tool at a time. So let it set for like a minute or so, maybe even longer, to let the bubbles rise. On this side now, once the bubbles have all risen, I'll fill up all the way to the top. If I overfill, it's not that big of a deal. I can use a popsicle stick or something to scoop out the rest, and so it doesn't bleed over too much. And then I use the masking tape that I just showed you. Got to let the bubbles rise, and I can use a toothpick to pop the bubbles as we go. And that's about the level you want it filled to. And then I get my masking tape. Make your life easier, you can fold the edges so it's not too difficult to pull off. And then I just simply run the tape over the top of the head, cinch it down tight on all sides of the eyelet. This way, when I set it flat on the floor, the epoxy won't scoot out the sides. And you can always use more tape if you're nervous that it's going to spill out of the sides. But typically, if you've sanded it well on the top, it should bind up with the head nice, and it will stick to the head, but when the epoxy dries, it won't stick to the epoxy. That's it.